This is the Astrology Show podcast with Jessica Adams.
Thanks, Shane. Here is your astrology and tarot for the week starting August 5. Aries, freedom and independence obviously can't be purchased in a catalogue. And they're very important to you now because ever since 2018, you have had this horoscope symbol called Uranus, freedom in Taurus, the sign of money, property, business and charity. In fact, all of this week depends on how committed you are to your own slow revolution, as you are definitely feeling the old chains rattle. It may be that you are adapting to a different currency. It may be that somebody is showing you that there's more to life than money and that some things are priceless. In other cases, you may be looking at cryptocurrency with fresh eyes or sorting out a house, apartment, inheritance, or investment. The golden rule with this transit is that there are no rules. In fact, everything changes all the time, and you are living with this for quite a long time too, so you're not over it by 2024. This week is about understanding that you do actually need to update your life budget every so often and figure out a new way to hang different price tags on different things. So this may be a very old arrangement that existed before 2018, or you may be changing what you changed a couple of years ago. All of this gives you something very precious, and that is space, autonomy, liberation, and liberty. The question that remains this week is, who or what do you need freedom from, or who or what will give you freedom? Taurus. Well, let's talk about success and status. You will not have this fork in the road in quite this way for another 2 years. Ceres and Pluto, two horoscope symbols which change everything, are up ahead in your professional, unpaid work and academic zone in December, just before Christmas, January and February next year, 2025. This week is about pre-planning, and you need to look at two things here. One of them is the amount of control that you have compared to the control that you lost. And the other one is the amount of power that you have. These two players, Ceres and Pluto, are linked in astrology, and here they are up ahead of each other. They are about a huge compromise or deal, and you would be signing off in December with a very fresh start to next year. It may be a new job. It may be resigning from your old job. It's on that level. It may be farewelling one university and taking up with another. There is also unpaid work to consider, what you might call your vocation or your true calling. The most important question to answer this week is, are you prepared to wait to get control? And what would it actually mean to feel that you do have the upper hand? You were handed quite a lot of power in 2023. Since then, you've had all the highs and lows that come with this transit, and there have been times when you felt that you had no power at all, but now you can change that. Gemini, academia, emigration, travel, publishing, foreign people and places, the World Wide Web with the emphasis on world and other cultures are now on offer to you with huge issues next year about being powerful and understanding what willpower is. This is a really good week to be honest with yourself. You can obviously see everything on the board, but are you going for more clout, influence or power in terms of what other people say, or are you actually being very, very frank with yourself about what it would mean to you to have proper controls? Ever since Pluto changed signs to Aquarius in 2023, everything has transformed around you, and you have had choices, particularly at the beginning of this year. Yet everything has subsequently transformed, and you are no longer where you thought you would be at the end of last year. Now a choice comes around again. This is too soon to call, but in December, January, and February, you can expect a major ending or beginning that will put foreign people or places center stage with you, and a big choice by February. This week is a good time to put all your ducks in a row and sort out where they're going to swim next. Cancer. Neptune and Saturn in Pisces are really hard work in your solar 9th house. You are now going through a bubble of sorts as they are going into Aries and they are also moving out of Pisces. So you're in transition between this year and next year. What is coming towards you next year is the beginning of a big holiday from reality professionally, academically, or with your unpaid work. Neptune in Aries always brings a vacation from what is normal or real to most people. It goes on for years, and you will feel the very, very small start of it this week. The bubble at the moment is with finance or property. So you also have to work with certain rules and regulations about boundaries when it comes to those kinds of things. You're also going through one of those cycles where the future influences the present very much so. So, in terms of your role, your vocation, or your calling, there is a combination here of rules but no rules, which is most peculiar, that starts next year. You are given quite a long lead in time this time, and you have about 6 months to prepare. But this week, as you are an emotional water sign, it is time to actually look at what you feel, not what you think, as it is your emotions which will matter the most next year when it all starts to change. Leo, Uranus in Taurus and Pluto back in Capricorn, followed by Ceres in Capricorn, in plain English, does suggest rapid new freedom and a lot of independence with your calling, your talent, your business, your profession, or your unpaid work. Some of it is on your CV and some of it is definitely not, but all of it is in your basket. This is a really unusual combination. It's not possible more than once in your adult life. So your side hustle may end up being your main hustle next year. It is also possible that you will retire, resign, accept the most unexpected headhunting opportunity, or go for the top job in the weirdest way. It's true to say that Uranus is about expecting the unexpected. So when it comes to mapping out your success in life this week, you may want to allow yourself a lot of leeway, because typically Uranus in Taurus is the last thing that you expected to happen happening. And that's this year and next year. But the big sign off in terms of your actual lifestyle is definitely December this year. Virgo, you have major transits in your sixth house, ruled by Aquarius in your chart, with your work, health, fitness, mental health, unpaid work, or study. A big sign-off decision comes in December, January, February, but you can't just leap into these things. It's not going to come from nowhere. There are signs this week, and later on you will realise in November that the writing is on the wall. There has to be a choice made here about taking the reins and taking back control of everything that adds up together with how well you feel and how well you do for other people. This is all pretty close to home. As a Virgo, you were born with the sun in the sixth house in your natal chart, so you are here to serve and do your duty, but you can't do that unless you do your duty to yourself. So what you're being asked to do in December, which is hinted at this week, is figure out a new way into 2025 that will look after you the way that you look after other people and even the dog or cat. This is the kind of cycle when everybody wants something at home or work, but as a Virgo, only you can figure out what you owe yourself. Libra. Pluto is in your sector of children, teenagers, or young adults. Relationships which may end in parenthood too. Some younger people in your family circle now may be the story. Also, Libra, particularly if you are child-free, a whole younger network of people now is key. What you are experiencing can only happen every 248 years in the laws of astrology. Therefore, you can be forgiven for feeling as if you have your L plates on. What happened last year transformed everything for you, whether we are talking about your stepchildren or about a new relationship which may end in being a step parent or with a new baby. In addition to this, there is a bigger question here about Generation Z, the Zoomers. What changed last year set you up for what looked like really new power this year, and then a couple of things have happened to get in the way of that, to put it mildly. This week, you are allowed to look at your life stepping back from it and to question what you were assuming, as you do have more choice than you thought. As you will see in December, January, February, the only real issue is, do you feel that you are sharing the control with other people, or are you feeling overpowered on some level? If you are, you know what to do this week. Scorpio. Jupiter in Gemini expands money, property, business, or charity in a 12-year cycle, which for you now offers the most room for growth. The 8th house, where we now find Jupiter, is about all relationships which are based on intimacy and money, or property-based family relationships. In fact, you were born with the sun in Scorpio in the 8th house in your natal chart. So it's a double whammy. You are being offered something so much bigger and better here, Scorpio. This week is the lead-in, and it gives you time to look at the numbers, because next year, until June, Jupiter will reward you for the amount of work that you do now. The opportunity may already be obvious to you. You may have inherited or be aware that you are going to inherit. You may also have a new boyfriend or girlfriend who comes with money or property. There are all sorts of variations on the theme, but this is a good week to look at the numbers and to ask yourself about the price tags that you hang on things that you can't buy. Sagittarius. There is karma from life as it was 18 or 19 years ago for you to process this week. That karma involves courtship, the bedroom, the world of children, young adults, or pregnancy. What happened 18 or 19 years ago has a ripple effect on this week. So you may have had a baby 18 or 19 years ago who's now a teenager, or you may have been in a relationship where a pregnancy did not happen or could not happen. It's different for everybody, obviously, and your personal birth chart will tell you the story. In fact, you have transits in your personal chart and also your solar chart, both in the 5th house, which is about being a parent or not, being a step parent or not, taking on responsibility as a kind of super parent to a larger group of people. All of this is now swirling around in your horoscope this week, and what happens will keep you feeling a bit stuck, but it has to be on repeat because it's the only way that you are going to figure out what you are owed from 18 or 19 years ago, or pick up from the universe what you need to pay back. Capricorn. Let's talk about Ceres in Capricorn in your own sign. This is about a new deal over your appearance, your branding, your reputation, title, name or image, your exterior. Progress is unavoidably slow, as you no doubt know, because Pluto hangs around until November in your sign. There are no instant or easy results. Meanwhile, Ceres, who is the other half of the deal, is going backwards through Capricorn. So things are almost there, but not quite there. And you are aware that you are in a slow relaunch, but it may feel as if this isn't enough. That's quite correct. This week is about doing a bit of research, stepping back from the situation. And this isn't ego or narcissism, but you do need to look at how you're represented online. Aquarius. Well, Pluto in Aquarius, your own sign, is triggered in your chart this week. This is about your image, brand, reputation, or appearance. The total slow transformation of me, however you see me, which is you, is now right in front of your eyes, ready for a big sign-off and sign-on in December, January, and February. This is going to be quite the Christmas because we see a changeover for the next 20 years. We see Pluto finally and at last in full detail going out of Capricorn and into Aquarius for another couple of decades. You are being given a long lead-in time to this. You have to figure out how you're going to work it. You may, for example, decide to retire or resign if you've been in the public eye. You may go for enormous weight loss if you've always been overweight. Or you may decide that you have had enough of being online. That can happen too. Whatever it is, you're aware of it now. This week shows you the path. The path begins in November, December, January, February. Pisces. Well, Uranus in Taurus suggests you are likely to radically alter course with the web, publishing, education, or the media, even more than you already have. And since 2018, that's been quite a lot. This cycle this week will also teach you how to make the relationship with your brother, cousin, or sister work in a different way beyond the changes that you've already made. Uranus is about new inventions and new technology. In Taurus, in your third house of the internet, you don't have to be a master astrologer to figure out it's about the ever-changing shape of what is out there for you. This week you will be updated. You'll be shown a website or another way of using digital, which for you is a revolution, but will actually liberate you too. Who knows, it may be AI. So to your birth chart. If you have factors in Aquarius, an unusual milestone for a complicated friendship or group is a rather heavy connection this week. You will be ready for sign-off or sign-on choices with your friend or the group in December, January, February, and this week shows you the way. Babies born this week have lucky Jupiter in Gemini, the sign of the internet, language translation, books, and the media. From their first birthday onwards, these very small people will reach for a computer or phone as if they know how to work it. If it's your birthday, then happy birthday. Your side hustle could be so much more in 2025 if you make a big work decision in September to December. Famous birthdays include Jerry Halliwell, who is 52 on August 6, The Edge, who is 63 on August 8, Jar Wobble, who is 66 on August 11, and Richie Ramone, who is 67 the same day. Your tarot card this week can be decoded at jessicaadams.com. Aries, the Three of Cups. Taurus, the Ace of Swords. Gemini, the World. Cancer, the Queen of Pentacles. Leo, the Lovers. Virgo, Strength. Libra, the Devil. Scorpio, the Four of Wands. Sagittarius, the Wheel of Fortune. Capricorn, the Ace of Pentacles. And Aquarius, the Magician. Fated connections now are Capricorn and Scorpio, who both have radical change with partners or children. This is the slow revolution which will set you free. I thought I'd talk a bit about Pluto in Aquarius with both endings and beginnings. The huge amount of self-control and willpower required from you in one area of your life may seem too much this year. In fact, you might even walk away in December. Which area of life? Well, let's go through the signs. Aries, this willpower and power issue is about the group, the club, the band, the team, society, association, the charity, or the political party. Taurus, this is about your career, unpaid work, or academic career. Gemini, this is about foreigners or a foreign country. It may be linked to academia, the World Wide Web, or publishing. Cancer, this is about finance, business, valuables, charity, or property. Leo, this is about a work partnership, a marriage, a de facto relationship, or a conflict, the duet or the duel. Virgo, this is about your workload and well-being and how they feed into each other. You have a service and duty to perform, but your first duty is to yourself. Libra, this is about the bedroom, courtship, heirs, spares, and pretenders to your throne. So your son, for example, or your stepson. Scorpio, this is about the family circle, your extended family, property, home, hometown, homeland, and ancestors. Sagittarius, this is about a brother, sister, or cousin. Capricorn, this is about finance, property, business, valuables, and charity, but personal to you, not shared or divided. Aquarius, this is about your image, how you appear, how you are seen, your reputation, name, or branding. And Pisces, this is about your therapist, your church, your tarot deck, your psychic, your hypnotist, Buddhism, or your inner life. Every Pisces is different, but this is private and solitary. So Pluto has been on and off in Aquarius since 2023, and this is all pretty new. In the area of life I just mentioned, you have been shown just how much power you can have, but in return, you are still being asked to use extreme willpower. You cannot say what you want to say, and you cannot do what you feel like doing. Not if you want to win this game, anyway. When we see Aquarius weather around Pluto in December, January, February, which I've been talking a bit about in this show, you will sign off on a big or small level. On a big level, you may walk away from a relationship which only began a few months ago. On a small level, you may say no to a project. On a really huge level, you may retire earlier than you thought or buy a property. You may emigrate. Pluto is worth a closer look because in his new sign of Aquarius, he is a completely different game for you, and he is an Aquarius for 20 years. If you go back to my website with a prediction from February last year, so over a year ago now, I published that people power is back, women are back, and Pluto in Aquarius is here. So that is quite clearly Kamala Harris, who won the Democrat nomination as we're recording this today. Who would have thought Joe Biden would go? But he has. You have put up with Pluto in Capricorn, power at the top of the system, for about 15 years. If you or the people that you know have Capricorn chart factors, this will have been a time of mergers, resignations, takeovers, scrapped projects and redundancies, people politics in your profession. Most of all, it's been about dominators and controllers who do not accept people power but want it all their own way. The most radical example of this is Donald Trump himself, who refused to accept the results of a democratic election that landed in a landslide against him. So if you want an example of Pluto in Capricorn, Trump is the walking, talking version. But in your own life, for about 15 years, you have also been subject to power trippers and game players and people politicians. Well, it's all going. The mountain goats who are trying to get to the top or trying to hang on to the top, and the mountain itself disappears. We can't really talk about Pluto in Aquarius, which is people power shared between men and women, without talking about the end of Pluto in Capricorn. What happens in September when Pluto in Capricorn is there for the last time is that the mountain goes or the mountain goats go. Trump, that great symbol of Pluto in Capricorn, was literally falling, stumbling in January 2024, and he fell again and was photographed at a rally that made front pages. Now, astrology does not predict illness nor death. It shows you the risk of it, but most importantly, what it does on a broad level is show you that it is time for the end of a system. And so the mountain goes and the goats go. Back in February 2023 on my website, I published that, quote, Donald Trump will go by 2025. Mike Pence will go. Well, he's already gone. I wrote that Vladimir Putin will go. Well, I think he died or was removed and replaced by actors. And as I told the Daily Express, Charles III will go. As I've said, astrology doesn't predict death or illness, but for whatever reason and whatever way, whenever you have this transit, you have the beginning of the end for a way of life that we've become used to, where we have no power. Astrology is history and Pluto is always power, but it's power that ends as the planet ends its time in a sign. The sign tells you where the power was and where it vanishes. In Capricorn, that has been patriarchy, white men mostly at the top, very few of them. There isn't much room at the top, and below them, the pyramid, the system. Nothing could be more radical than what you're about to see, and it won't just be in politics or on the world stage, it will also be in your own life. In Aquarius, the new power is with women and the group. On previous cycles like this one, which we're all getting ready for, Pluto saw Emperor Nero take his own life. Louis and Marie Antoinette went to the guillotine. George III went mad, became unfit to rule, and was replaced by his son. These are all extreme examples from history, And it's almost a rule with this cycle that every time we go around, we just have a more civilized version of the same thing. With the endings come the new beginnings. Catherine the Great overthrew her own husband Peter and took on Russia on this cycle. Henry VIII was replaced by 2 women, not just one. Pluto transits like this one are pretty demanding. They change your life. They can empower you, yet nothing happens without self-discipline, energy, and commitment. If you let Pluto's situations, people, organizations, or even nations take over, you find that you lose all power and the control goes out of your hands. So, in the area of your life that I mentioned at the beginning, this is now where the gauntlet is being thrown down. Pluto moves very slowly, and you'll find that your life in the next few years to 2028 also transforms quite slowly. If you have anything in your birth chart at 0 to 8 degrees of Aries, Gemini, Libra, Sagittarius, you are in the first wave of people to be offered real influence and clout. You are first decan people if you have the sun at 0 to 8 degrees of Aries, Gemini, Libra, and Sagittarius. And as a group, you first decan people are going to be shown what you can do if you're prepared to take it on. Pluto was found in 1930 when the idea of resistance to who or what tried to dominate you became crucial. The 1930s taught astrologers about Pluto. If you wanted to resist fascists and Nazis, you had to push back. Einstein did, the Jews did, the English did when Britain stood alone, and that's how astrologers learned what Pluto is. Pluto also rules dogs, believe it or not. He had a dog called Cerberus, and this whole cycle is about self-discipline, self-control, putting yourself on a routine with a discipline and resisting who wants to be top dog or put you in the doghouse. Maybe you've already gone through this year. All of this is now swirling around in your horoscope this week. Do have a look at your personal birth chart. If you don't have it, you can pick it up free at astro.com if you feel like doing a bit of maths. And if you want the quick and easy way, you can pick one up on my website for the price of a cup of tea or two. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch up with you next week.